True crime cowboy. True crime cowboy.
Happy Sunday morning, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. Oh man, we got some stuff to cover today. I actually wasn't planning on doing a video today, but now I just gotta. Some pretty interesting stuff. Let me start out. I was in CC's live a couple nights ago. It was two or three nights ago. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I was in her live, and they were talking about the missing ram sticker. It's a ram, not a bull. We call it a bull. You can't tell ram's horns when you see them. Bulls ain't got horns like that, people. Anyway, just kidding. No, actually, they don't. So some of you never seen cows or bulls in real life, so you wouldn't know. I'm just giving you a bad time. So anyway, they're talking about the missing ram sticker that was on the back of Kylie's car, and somebody brought up and used the name Baphomet, or however you pronounce it, Baphomet, Baphomet, or Baphomet, kind of like Mohammed. It's kind of like, I guess. Anyway, I don't know why I'm care how it's pronounced. Anyway, Baphomet. So I started doing a little checking on that. And this is what I came across. Now, whether this has any significance or not, no idea. It's just a thought. Yeah, but it's going to be tied to the rest of what I'm going to say, so maybe it will make sense by the time I'm done. Even to me too. Baphomet is a deity allegedly worshipped by the Knights Templar that subsequently became incorporated into various occult and Western esoteric traditions. Baphomet is a symbol of balance in various occult and mystical traditions, the origin of which some occultists have attempted to link with the Gnostics and Templars, although occasionally purported to be a deity or a demon. Since 1856, the name Baphomet has been associated with the Sabbatic goat image drawn by Elias Levi. Levi's intention was to symbolize his concept of balance, with Baphomet representing the goal of perfect social order. All right. And some other checking that I did is basically it's associated with many of the satanic cults, particularly those in California. Now, why do I bring this up? I had one of my subscribers did a little digging, and she was using DuckDuckGo, which is one of those browser that I use it on occasion too. It unlike Google basically tracks everything that you search. DuckDuckGo does not track it, so you can browse anonymously using that browser. So anyway, she did a search, and on a whim, she entered Baphomet Sammy Smith. When she did, this is one of the images that it came up with. A young blonde girl looking strung out, sitting on the edge of a railroad boxcar. Don't know when this was taken. Don't know where it was taken. Don't really know if it has any significance at all. But I find it very interesting. Let me backtrack for just a minute. There was something I meant to cover that I spaced out. Now, the Ram sticker that was on the back of Kylie's vehicle, Somebody said it was from some pizza place, which I can't remember the name of. But let's just say it was from a pizza place. Even so, symbols are used by kids to represent other things. May use a benign symbol from a pizza place to symbolize something that it's not meant to be or meant to symbolize. I think about the way, like, the Crips and Bloods, how they used baseball caps to represent their gangs. The Crips, and this has been years ago. I don't know if they still do this or not, but this is back when I was a cop. The Crips would use the Colorado Rockies baseball hats. They were black, and they had the CR across the front of it. I don't know what their baseball hat is now because I don't really follow baseball all that closely, unless it's like the Mariners. But it used to have CR across the front, which of course stood for Crips. The Bloods, on the other hand, would use the, if I remember right, I think I'm right on this. I may not be, but I'm pretty sure I am. They would wear the red Boston Red Sox baseball hats with the B on the front, of course, representing the Bloods. Clothing is a big thing, very symbolic thing in gangs, in cults. Clothing and colors and all of that mean a lot. So, why was that sticker on the back of Kylie's car? We know that Lindsay's involved in the occult, and it obviously from Kylie's celebration of life, being tarot cards on the table and all kinds of things, that she also introduced it to Kylie as well. So, was it just a benign pizza sticker? Is that all it meant? Why was that on the back of her vehicle? Why was it removed? Does it have a reference to something else that whoever removed the sticker was trying to cover up? Hoping that people would forget about it. I don't know. It's just pure conjecture, but it's something to think about. Now, let's go back to this picture of the blonde girl sitting on the edge of a railroad boxcar. Look at her facial features. Look at her nose, her hair, the color of the hair, the body type. Now, I got another picture of Kylie, and I did a side-by-side, and here it is. Notice, the right side of her face has a little flip to the hair that you don't see on the left side of her face. It'd be our left, but her right. Notice the same flip of the hair. How it's kind of curly, or I call it a flip. I don't know. I'm not a fashion expert, and I don't have long hair, obviously. I don't have any hair, so so it's kind of hard for me to judge. But in the picture on the right of her, that hair color, of course, if you've seen pictures of her, you know that's either taken in bad light or whatever. That's not the color of her hair. Her hair is not that red. Especially when it's out in the sun, probably like the picture on the left was taken. But you got that little flip. There's a slight flip on the left side, but not quite as pronounced as it is on the right side of her face. The nose matches. The eyebrows match. If you can't really see it here, but if you take and blow the picture up towards where it's giant sized and look at it, I blew this picture up of the side by side. I blew it up and they're the same. The nose is the same. The mouth, it's hard to tell because her mouth is a little open in her actual picture. Now, is the girl on the left Kylie? Well, for one thing, it sure seems weird that it came up under doing a search under Sammy Smith in Baphomet. Kind of strange, huh? Why is she sitting on the edge of a railroad boxcar? That is one method the cartels use to transport girls that they've abducted. Also, she looks strung out. She looks out of it. That's also another thing that they do. They keep them doped up. They keep them strung out on drugs to keep them under control. So is this Kylie on the left? Is that Kylie sitting on the railroad boxcar? I'll tell you what, I don't think you could get much closer. I'm not saying that's 100% her, but I would think that it's really, really hard to get much closer than that. Anyway, something to think about. I still am having a hard time believing that was her in the vehicle and that autopsy was done on her. I'm having a really hard time with it. Now, how does all this that I've just presented to you tie in? Well, we'll get to it. I want to talk today about holding companies. And again, you'll see as we go along how this all ties in. All right, what is a holding company? A holding company is a business entity, usually a corporation or limited liability company. Typically, a holding company doesn't manufacture anything, sell any products or services, or conduct any other business operations. Rather, holding companies hold the controlling stock in other companies. Although a holding company owns the assets of other companies, it often maintains only oversight capacities. So while it may oversee the company's management decisions, it does not actively participate in running a business day-to-day operation of these subsidiaries. All right. Next, it says, a holding company is a type of financial organization that owns a controlling interest in other companies, which are called subsidiaries. The parent corporation can control the subsidiaries' policies and oversee management decisions, but doesn't run day-to-day operations. Now, here's an important point. Holding companies are protected from losses accrued by subsidiaries. So if a subsidiary goes bankrupt, its creditors can't go after the holding company. Boy, ain't that convenient. But let me add another aspect to that, too. If a subsidiary is found to be doing illegal activities, that subsidiary, they go after them, but the parent company remains untouched. Keep that in mind. They go after the subsidiary, but the parent company remains untouched. Again, boy, ain't that convenient. There's one particular holding company that I've taken a look at, and this is something that this was another subscriber that brought this to my attention. And by the way, I don't know if you guys want your names mentioned or not, but thank both of you. You guys know who you are, and I really appreciate it because my sources have been giving me some super great information. There's a company called Cemex, which I think it means concrete Mexicans or something like I can't remember what it was. I looked it up and now I didn't write it down. But it says Cemex is a global building materials company that provides high-quality products and reliable services with a rich history of improving the well-being of those it serves through innovative building solutions, efficiency advancements, and sustainability efforts. Oh my, doesn't that sound noble? Yeah, oh yeah, they sound like a great organization. All right, it says Symbolism, SABDCV, is a holding company which engages in the construction industry through the production, distribution, marketing, and sale of cement, ready-mix concrete, and aggregates. It operates through the following geographic regions: Mexico, United States, Northern Europe, Mediterranean, South America, and the Caribbean, and Asia. Its products include blended cement, gravel, sand, recycled concrete, asphalt, concrete block, and roof tiles. It also provides services such as construction financing, mobile solutions, technical support, and customer-oriented educational and training services. The company was founded in 1906 and is headquartered in San Pedro Garcia, Mexico. All righty, so it just so happens that there is a Cemex in Reno. They're only rated 3.6. Y'all suck. Cemex Reno Concrete Plant. Here's the address, phone number. All right, now we're going to start tying all this stuff together. Reno. What a fantastic location. Why would they pick Reno? Now, this picture sucks. I tried to get a good picture, but it was really hard to get it on Google Maps. But anyway, this is... I wish it would draw a line for me so I could, but it doesn't do that. So, but anyway, the I-80 runs from New York City to San Francisco. It's a corridor that goes all the way across the United States. It intersects with Interstate 15 before it goes across, or let me say this, it crosses I-15 or I-5. Did I say 15? I mean I-5. I-15 goes down through Salt Lake. I-5, which runs from the border at Tijuana all the way to the Canadian border. All the way up. So, you've got I-80, which runs the complete length of the United States, east and west, and then you have I-5, which runs the complete length of the United States going north and south. Reno is right there pretty much at the intersection. All right, I-80. Look at all the major cities that it goes through here. New York City, where it begins. Cleveland, Ohio. Chicago, Illinois. Des Moines, Iowa. Omaha, Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska. Salt Lake City, Utah. Reno, Nevada. Sacramento, California. And San Francisco, California. Now, keep in mind that some of these cities are not super big, like, say, Des Moines, Omaha, and Lincoln. But those are all college towns. They're all college towns. Of course, Lincoln, of course, has major University of Nebraska is at Lincoln. Of course, University of Utah is at Salt Lake City. Anywhere you've got a college, you've got girls. Just saying. And it hits a lot of other lesser areas as well that also have colleges. All right? So, the next thing I want to show you, this is taken from an article, which also one of my subscribers turned me on to. It's called, Is Cemex Involved in Child Trafficking? All right, let me read you some excerpts from that article. It says the most despicable crime on the face of the earth is child sex trafficking, and the global elite are involved in controlling the industry in every country. And I don't know how long ago this was written, but I'm kind of getting the idea Trump was still president when this was written. He says, as the Trump administration exposed the ties to the Mexican cement and concrete business and child trafficking and its connections to various government officials. President Trump declared a state of emergency, allowing his administration to freeze the financial accounts of anyone involved with human trafficking, child pornography, trafficking children for pedophilia, or human sacrifice. And this includes politicians and state actors, current or former government officials, or a person acting for or on behalf of such an official. Okay. It says 1 year ago, so I'm assuming this was when Trump was still president. It says 1 year ago, President Donald Trump vowed to end the deplorable practice of human trafficking responsible for supplying children to pedophiles across the world. The president appeared on camera amidst an expert group of anti-human traffickers, presumably advising the U.S. leader of how to handle the endemic problems. Highlighting the most horrific crimes today are the sex trafficking of children, America's children, and illegal immigrants. Is this the actual reason those in government are pushing so hard against President Trump and illegal immigration? Are these elites in government paid and involved in these crimes against children? Word is spreading like wildfire across Arizona. The word is that there are, on the last count, 20 sex trafficking camps being discovered in the Tucson area along the I-19 corridor in Valencia. Wow. Just in Tucson, 20 camps. Says, you guessed it, mainstream media is not reporting this crime despite overwhelming evidence to substantiate the claims, and the Independent is still largely unaware of this heinous discovery in southern Arizona. According to Dave Hodges' report, the camp was discovered by a group associated with VOP. VOP is a group that patrols the streets and tries to rescue veterans who are homeless, drug addicted, or impaired in some fashion. The VOP associated with reporting on the sex trafficking camp where children are ostensibly used and murdered has stated that they happened by chance into the discovery of this camp from intel gathered from their street operations in the search for veterans at the campsite. Then evidence was found that implicated the site as a child sex trafficking site. All right, and it says, an outspoken critic of President Trump's wall, Mexico-based Cemex, one of the world's largest suppliers of building materials. The company has been viewed as a potential beneficiary as the U.S. presses forward with plans to build a barrier along 1,600 miles of unfenced terrain on the southern border. Cemex has come under intense pressure at home to boycott the multi-billion-dollar project, which Trump says will curb illegal immigration from Mexico. It might curb it a little bit, but it doesn't do a whole lot. Says, according to the U.S. General Services Administration's Federal Business Opportunities website, Cemex has not registered as a potential government contractor for the border barrier. On Thursday, company spokesman Jorge Perez said Cemex wouldn't supply third-party contractors working on the wall with cement or other building materials. An intricate plan was that the DOJ started investigations into Cemex in March of 2018 so that there would be no children at the camp. Cemex is the glue to the entire child trafficking ring, and no better way to expand the DOJ's investigation. All right, and keep in mind there's a Cemex in Reno, as we said. All right, it says Arizona is the key to so much crime and corruption. Let's look past the mayor of Tucson being a Rothschild and let's focus on the governors. The current governor, Doug Ducey, is involved in all kinds of scandals. Some will be left in the comments, but let's look at the previous governors. The governor before Ducey was Jan Brewer. Most notable in the state of Arizona is the scandal about over 6,000 child abuse charges that went ignored. Before Brewer, Janet Napolitano resigned her position as governor to join the Obama administration as Secretary of Homeland Security. Cemex opens the door to human/child trafficking, and it ties all of these companies into President Trump's executive order on December 21st. This is huge. All right, so like I said, this is past history, but still relevant. So Cemex is a $100 million donor to the Clinton Foundation and has ties to Arizona corruption, Carlos Slim, Clinton Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, Soros, and Rothschilds. Cemex is also owned by Bronfman Rothschild. Cemex is under a U.S. DOJ investigation, according to a March 14th, 2018 Reuters article. It says the investigation comes after the company said in December that the Securities Exchange Commission had asked it for information to determine whether it violated the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act in the construction of a new plant in Colombia. Editor's note, it is unclear what they are under investigation for. It is unclear what this plant in Colombia is all about. Is it tied to child sex trafficking? That question cannot be answered at this time because there is a media blackout on this investigation except for a brief update on May 18th by the Wall Street Journal. However, the articles did not reveal anything significant related to the specific crimes. Yeah, I wonder why there's a media blackout, huh? Or was anyway. I don't know how, if it's still relevant or not. But I'm just bringing this up just to show how Cemex is involved. Emiliano Salinas is the son of a former president of Mexico. Salinas is an ex-member of the nasty Hollywood cartel with sex trafficking ties. You may recall that former Smallville actress Allison Mack had admitted involvement in the controversial organization. Salinas worked for Lazard Investments. Lazard Investments is connected to George Soros. Jonathan Rothschild is the mayor of Tucson. Of course, I don't know who is now, but when this was written, I guess. It's been known for years that the Rothschild-Greenberg cartel controls the Pima County Sheriff. And I guess I assume that's in Arizona. All right, so my throat's giving me a really bad time this morning, people. So, all right, so what I want to do now is I want to read you some information that one of my sources, and I have a lot of different sources that have been giving me information. I want to read you some things that this person sent me regarding holding companies and how they're being used in the Truckee area, mostly to launder money for the cartels. Big time. All right, he says, you need to know that I found a lot of information on blank. All right, let me just say the name is one that is that if you follow Kylie's case at all, you have all heard. This information means that you really must tread forward with even more caution. They're not only tied in with the cartels, they're also tied in with communist China, which means fentanyl. I don't know how much you know about our government through CIA and other intelligence agencies and their involvement in trafficking and setting up front companies to launder money and move products of all kinds. We'll give you detailed information about how they utilize different companies, especially holding companies, for all aspects. Their operations have only grown year to year. They say, I wanted to give you some information about how our government, especially intelligence agencies, fund and set up holding companies to get around laws, embargoes, and to basically break the laws to smuggle contraband or get around sanctions that our own government has placed on countries that we go to jail for violating, yet they utilize these types of companies to navigate around sanctions. They're not financial or trading companies. They can basically be any type of company that provides numerous types of products and services, as we saw with Cemex. All right, says, I know of CIA officials who are taping up boxes filled with cocaine to ship to various destinations. They would place a 24-hour guard keeping the pallets containing the boxes safe while refusing anyone except the owner of the company to come close to the pallets. Can you believe that they are using government employees to violate our Constitution, laws, and sanctions, then interrupt our people who are trying to do their jobs? All right, says, a worldwide holding company doesn't go through customs, so they have red carpet loading and unloading of their illegal contraband. There's a lot of international trading companies in the import-export business in the Nevada County, Placer County, and Reno area. Way too many for a ski resort area that's supposed to make hundreds of millions during the winter ski months. And then here's something interesting. I think I've read about this as well. It says, I was told that the New York Times ran an article about Trinity. Are you aware of that? If so, why would you think that a newspaper all the way from New York would run an article about a girl who went missing, then was found dead in little old Truckee, California? There's reasons for everything. Billionaire Brothers Club, billionaires protecting billionaires, or some type of message sent to others in their organization or other organizations. Says, court records, many times they are filed in wrong places, not filed at all, or filed in compartmental designation file in one person's office that controls information, just like any true information that might exist in Kylie's case. They usually have one or two people at the most who will gather factual information so that it can be filed away and out of sight to be used as reminders to people who are involved that they are owned from this point for the rest of their lives or for blackmail in years to come. And then the last thing here is he says, I'd really like to be in a position where I could look at the financials of her mom to see if she's had a large change and came into unexplained fortune since the death of Kylie. I tried to get blank, and I, of course, X'd out the name there, to run it for me, but he told me I was crazy and I shouldn't want anything to do with that place. Okay, so I haven't gone into really a lot in depth as far as holding companies. I'm going to be getting into that in some future videos. But my main point of this one was to talk about this one Cemex who as we've seen, has an office in Reno, and how they are a front organization. I would imagine that the Cemex in Reno is a subsidiary. So if they get popped for something, the parent company doesn't get popped as well. The sad thing is, people, our government is involved in the majority of this crap. Government, law enforcement, there's a lot of dirty people. A lot of dirty, dishonest, unscrupulous people who are involved, who seem to care less that people get hooked on drugs and die from drugs, that seem to care less that children get trafficked. And look up a missing persons map. I've got it. In fact, it wouldn't take me forever to find it. What file I put it in, I'd provide an image of that as well. Let me tell you, people, there's so many that have disappeared in California. A lot of them from national forests, because that seems to be a prime area, the woods. People out hiking, people out by themselves, or even in small groups. I don't know if you've ever watched Missing 411 channel. That David Paulides is an ex-detective, ex-cop. He wrote all these books about all these people that just went mysteriously missing. Talks about that 1 minute somebody, and most of these are like out in the woods, like in California, and where a person will be standing there talking to somebody, and they turn around to look at something, and they turn back around, and the person's gone. It's like they vanished into thin air. And we know that people don't vanish into thin air. There's a reason. Look, trafficking's big money, as we've talked about before. And the ones making the money will seize any opportunity they can if they find someone that fits their criteria, which Kylie did. So, I'm interested in your thoughts on this. Like I say, I don't know 100% sure by any means that picture is of Kylie, but it's sure interesting that looking at Baphomet Sammy Smith, that image pops up. And it sure looks a lot like her. Exact same body type, same nose, same hair, same facial features, same eyebrows. It's like I told my subscriber when I emailed the person back, I said, boy, that's not her, it's her doppelganger. Or pretty close to it. Anyway, that's all I got for you this morning. I just wanted to present this. And just the possibilities of what might have happened. Also, I wanted you to kind of get an orientation as to holding companies, because all the major families over in that area use these holding companies to launder money. And we're going to be getting more into that, the more information that I get from my sources. I haven't got all of it that I want yet, otherwise I would, already be getting into it. But I've already got quite a bit of information, enough to really be extremely incriminating to those involved. But I want to get more. I want to get the whole thing together, before I put it all together for you guys. I debated doing this, to be honest with you. I've been praying about it. And I just really feel that it's something that I have to do. Somebody has to do it. Whether it'll do any good or not, that's not up to me. I'm not responsible for the results. I'm only responsible for what I feel is doing the right thing. And that's what I plan on doing. Alrighty. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was informative. Hopefully they give you some food for thought. Actually, a whole smorgasbord maybe even, huh? All right. We'll catch you later, folks. You have a great Sunday.
True